Sutam Devam Kamsa Charuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Thou son of Vasudeva, the destroyer of the evil forces of Kamsa and Chanura, the supreme bliss of Devaki, thy mother. O Krishna, as God and as the Guru of the world, we salute you. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, verses 27 and 28. O son of Pritha, no yogi who has known these two courses becomes deluded. Therefore, O Arjuna, be you steadfast in yoga at all times. We are coming to the end of this chapter, the chapter on the imperishable Brahman, the discourse on the imperishable Brahman, Akshara Brahma. And it had begun with Arjuna's questions, 7 questions. And the whole of this chapter was a discourse on those 7 questions. And he sums up one of the 7th question about what happens at the time of death. What path does a person take? So he's closing that question with this answer, showing the results of the knowledge. Of what? Of these 2 courses. They are eternal, he said. These 2 courses, the one which is dark and which leads us to a place from where we return, and another place which is bright and from where we do not return but keep on gradually going higher and higher and higher till we merge in the reality. So that's why he's saying, O son of Pritha, no yogi who has known these 2 courses becomes deluded. These 2 courses, the bright and the dark, the one which is called the path of return, and the other, the path of no return, which we have discussed in the last class. These 2 courses, even now we know it. Now we know there are these two pathways which open up to a person when that person leaves the body. So, but this knowledge is not the knowledge that the Lord is speaking about. The 2 courses means the entirety of birth, rebirth, departure, return, non-return, the whole scheme of creation, of bodies, of subtle bodies, of religious rites, meditations, knowledge. So by just mentioning, if you know these 2 paths, it means the entirety of creation. Otherwise, I know we've got two paths. To come down here to this Hollywood Center, we have this path and then we have this path. We can both reach here. No. So it's not like that. So the person, the yogi, knows the entirety of what impels one to actions which will lead us to again rebirth. And what actions impel us that will gradually take us higher and higher and higher. As we have said, gradual liberation, krama mukti. Higher and higher. And there we've seen in the 6th chapter also, saying, so the yogi is telling the yogi is telling the yogi, no yogi, whoever has known these two courses become deluded. Therefore, O Arjuna, you be steadfast in yoga. So yogi, we have plenty of yogis. The other day somebody was telling me, I am a yogi. I said, yes, very good. So, good for you. So, what is a yogi? A yogi is one who has supreme knowledge. It's very important to know that yoga means concentration, and it's concentration that brings us knowledge, and this knowledge is what is meant by be thou a yogi, be thou. So, and what is it? Something like, okay, I'm a yogi for 2 hours and then rest of the time I'm no. Says tasmat sarveshu kaleshu, at all times be a yogi. That is, at all times be established in this knowledge. What knowledge? Is it the knowledge of biology or psychology? No, no. You've gone to the very foundation of all knowledge, the supreme knowledge, the state of super consciousness. So to go there and to be established is the injunction, is the, you can say, the teaching of the Lord to Arjuna. So, naite shridi partha janan yogi muyati kaschana. So, the yogi is never deluded. Never. So, he uses the word never deluded. What was it? Really? Yeah. Because he or she, they know the very foundation of the universe. They know how souls are born and how souls live and how souls depart. And how the other world does not get full and how this world also does not get they see these creatures being born out of action, karma. So people are being born and people are coming this side and people are going that side. Yadiyatu, whatever comes, tat prayatu, it also goes. So knows, it's not, yeah, I know these two courses, I know these two paths. No. He knows those who travel on those paths also. The yogi also knows the various deities of time, as we have mentioned, that guide these souls from the path of return and the path of no return. And he's saying, therefore, O Arjuna, be you steadfast in yoga. What is steadfastness? It is a result of long practice. When you are steadfast in yoga, saying there are people who are saying, yeah, you've got to be, you to know yourself and all these things. But know yourself, what is know yourself? It is just my capabilities, physical and mental capabilities or limitations, not that. The idea of being steadfast in yoga is to be steadfast in supreme knowledge. So at times, due to so many factors, some yogis reach that state, but they are not established in that state. So like in the previous verses, we have seen that it has to be practiced over and over and again. till the person becomes established. So this steadfastness is spoken about by the Lord here. So yoga, knowledge, supreme knowledge, yeah, of the reality by concentration, of course. Besides knowing these two courses, these two directions, the path of return and the path of no return. So the person knows the entirety of creation. How does that person know? Again, it is through yoga, through concentration. Perfect concentration is this. Naite shriti partha janan yogi muyati kaschana tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhavarjuna. So be thou established in yoga, be steadfast in yoga, yoga yukto. So it is to be kind of joined to yoga at all times. And this is the idea. Do we forget this? No. The yogi, when the yogi is established in this state, there is a constant awareness, a higher awareness. And that is what the Lord is asking him to be, higher awareness. So this higher awareness is delineated in the next verse, which is the final verse in this 8th chapter. The Lord also takes the opportunity to praise this knowledge. Okay. Whatever results of righteousness has been declared with regard to the Vedas, to the sacrifices, to penances, and also charities, all that the yogi transcends by having known this, and he reaches the primordial supreme state here. Now, whatever results of what? So the Vedas are replete with prohibitions and injunctions. Don't do this and do this. This is the way to do things. So, because generally ordinary human beings are impelled by likes and dislikes. I like to do this, I don't like to do that. Sometimes the likes, what you like, ends in a disaster. And sometimes we things we don't like and which we dispense with, no, I don't want to do this. That very thing which would have given you a lot of results remains unfulfilled. So these injunctions and prohibitions of the Vedas, and after practicing all the sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas, and the penances, the austerities, the one-pointedness mentioned as the means to these sacrifices and the study of the Vedas, and also charity. As we have seen, charity is on 3 levels. One is the ordinary level of offering help. It's called annadana. That is offering help, monetary or food or whatever. Any person is starving, okay, yeah. Okay. The person is satisfied, okay. Then we have the second level of charity. Give some person or save some person's life. Pranadan, yeah, that's a huge kind of act of charity. And the third is the gift of knowledge, vidya dana. So, if you give a person knowledge, that person can enhance his life, can save his life, and also work for his own bread. But generally, these 3 levels, people stick to one level only and say, everything is, charity is this. Now, the highest charity is the gift of knowledge, the gift of life, the second, and then the gift of food, etc. Help, external help is the third. So all these forms of charities, all the yogi transcends all these by having known this, idam. What is this? Those, remember the 7 questions he had put in the beginning? We'll go through them, don't worry. And transcends that. He knows all this, knows all these things, knowing them transcends all them and attains that supreme primordial state, the state of divinity, the supreme state. This is the attainment of, supreme attainment of, that's what we had subtitled it. So whatever results of righteousness has been declared with regard to the Vedas, sacrifices, austerities, and also charities, all that the yogi transcends by having known this and reaches the primordial supreme state. Wow, who doesn't want that? Everybody wants that. Vedeshu yagneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam atyeti tat sarvamidam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. Cha adhyam. So that primordial. What is that? That state of, you can say. So the questions of Arjuna were, what is that Brahman? What is that which exists in the individual plane? What is karma? And what is that which is said to exist in the material plane? What is that which is said to be existing in the divine plane? Who is the Adiyagnya? That is, who is the Lord of the sacrifices? And how is that Lord of sacrifices to be known here in this body? And at the time of death, how are you to be known by people of concentrated minds? So these were the questions that Arjuna had put. Now the Lord of the sacrifices here. We have discussed all these kind of things, just to review. So the Lord says that Supreme Brahman is the immutable. Aksharam Brahma Paramam. The supreme reality is that immutable. The other day I was watching something and there's somebody saying, why is Indian philosophy so confusing? They can't even define things correctly. Then I said, I just saw the title and said, this is a problem with definitions. The moment you can define something, you limited it. And what is limited by your mind can never be the supreme. It can never be even the relative things. Even if I know this mic in totality, there will always be some knowledge of it which I do not know. Nobody can ever say that I know this object perfectly. It's just impossible. This is the faith of relative knowledge. And this is the faith of cognitions. This is the faith of all sense perceptions. What is exactly outside is unknown and unknowable. So you just cannot define the reality like that. Oh, the reality is like this. We just give pointers. And because, oh, you see, God has got 4 hands, or maybe 2 hands, I don't know. Yeah, good. Let's make it 2. And he's got blonde hair and blue eyes. No, it's, I think, dark hair and dark eyes. Let's make it 4 legs, or make it 6 legs. No. What's the definition? So people of kind of, who don't know the real Indian philosophy, they can, what's that? They can't even define reality. That is what the reality is supposed to be. Indefinable. That's which transcends every form of, you can say, relative knowledge. So here, that's why it's in the Supreme Brahman is the immutable. The very nature of Brahman is what is called the Adhyatma, indwelling self in the context of the body. So it's saying, Swabhavo Adhyatma Muchyate. That very reality is the basis of your own existence. So it may be indefinable. You try to define yourself. People have not been successful in that. Even your ordinary relative self is indefinable. You just can't, you can say box or put a kind of a paradigm and say, this is me. No. So that supreme reality which is indefinable is the basis of your own existence. And then he says, that offering which brings about the birth and growth of all things is called action. So actions, karma is bhuta bhavo bhava karo. That which gives rise to the one action gives rise to the second and the third and the fourth. That which is creative impulse in this universe. Swami Vivekananda says, see, it's very easy to break things, but you need a different type of mind to build things up. So you give a madman a hammer and you see what happens. He'll say, I'm doing karma. That's not karma. So you give a person some, you can say, ideas, and that guy will start building up things. Protecting things, building up things, maintaining things. This is karma, I say. Karma sangnitam. And then he's saying, adiyagno amevatra. That is one thing. I am the Lord of the sacrifices here in this body. And at the time of death, those who remember me will transcend it. So these are those 7 questions. And the Lord now, as you see, is saying, one who knows this, and the yogi transcends by having known this, all these 7 questions that have been answered. Once you understand these, okay, then you experience the highest state, the highest attainment, supreme attainment. Oh no, I have the knowledge of the chair. I don't care for that knowledge of the chair. So will that knowledge be saving me? Sorry. You must have knowledge that will save you. The knowledge protects you. Knowledge makes you transcend all this world of relativity. So we are all knowledgeable. We know so many things about so many things. You give a person a chance, a person will keep on talking and talking and talking and talking. But then that is not a saving knowledge. The knowledge that is derived from yoga is that which saves one. Saves one from what? From this repeated idea of births and rebirths and deaths. So here the Lord says, Atyeti, that person transcends, the yogi transcends. Tat sarvamidam viditva, by knowing all these things. And the yogi attains that supreme state. Param sthanam upaiti chadyam. So this is what it is. What happens to that person? As we have discussed it, that person becomes a living free, the Jivan Mukta. That person becomes perfect. Can a person become perfect? Yeah, through supreme knowledge. And this perfection is attainable by each and every one. And where is this perfection? Somewhere, do I have to go somewhere outside? No. You've got to go inside. Because that Lord of the sacrifice is inside. You must first understand your identity with whatever you think and talk and do, you offer as a sacrifice to that Lord of the sacrifices. And then become identified, then merge in that Lord of the, and this Lord will give you that transcendence. So that's why he's saying whatever results of righteousness has been declared with the regard to the Vedas. The study of the Vedas was extremely tough. First 12 years, and then, post-graduation was another 12 years, 24 years. And there were so many kind of conditions. You've got to, wear a kind of a kusha grass. There's a kind of grass that you got to wear a kusha grass ring, face the east, and then you bathe, and then after bathing you come and then you start studying the Vedas. So it was, and also studying with the Guru, not parroting it, just simply just parroting the words, know the essence of the Vedas. Then Yagneshu, as we have seen, the Yagna, that is sacrifices. So there is the old idea of a Vedic sacrifices. All sacrifices were based on the Vedas. And the Vedas themselves were based on the primeval sacrifice which had been undertaken by the gods to create this whole universe. This whole universe began with sacrifice, the yajna. Yeah. So what was in the beginning has to be replicated throughout in our lives, in all lives. So how does that sacrifice take the form? It takes the form of love. It takes the form of sacrificing your ego and your selfishness outside. So it's a kind of renunciation of all small things for the higher things. So as long as this idea of sacrifice is there in a person, that person is one with this whole creation. Otherwise people say, oh, this life is miserable. World is terrible. World is going to the dogs. Yeah. So, because they have become so disjointed with the whole infrastructure, as they say, they've become alienated. And daneshu tapasya, that tapasya, that is what makes tapas, what makes austerity, what? It's a concentration of the mind, of focus, the tremendous focus that is required. So you can do anything with focus, that becomes yoga, as we have seen. So that focus generates knowledge. That focus generates tremendous power. It's not only the power of knowledge, but the power of sustainability. The stamina increases. You can bear and forbear tremendous, you can say, negative things also. It brings power to your bodies and minds and your senses, tapas. So, in fact, everything that you do has to be done as a form of an concentration, tapas. Tapas has been, tapasya, has been the very foundation of all Indian life. That is, if you do, suppose you want to learn dancing, that has to be taken as a form of tapasya. If you want to sing, you want to be a singer, you want to play some instrument, you want to be an artist, you want to be a sculptor, you do anything. Anything you do it with concentration. And the more you do it with concentration, the more you will develop power. And that is what is going to lead you to the Supreme. So the basis of all activities should be this tapasya. A student will study through this concentration, that tapas. The moment this is neglected, then everything becomes neglected. So life becomes fruitful when you do things with paying attention and with concentration. And charity, we have discussed how these three levels of charity. He is saying, Yat punya phalam pradishtam, whatever has been pradishta, what has been declared by the Vedas regard to all these activities, what has been shown by the results, the tremendous results. These results are not ordinary. See, these results can save you from all kind of things. The problem is people don't want to practice them. But then, we think we know better. And so, in case we start this practice the way it is prescribed, then it saves you from innumerable things. I don't need to enumerate almost everything. So, athyeti tat sarvamidam viditva. Yeah, right. So, here it is. The person transcends all these things. Even all what has been mentioned in the Vedas, yes. Because knowledge ultimately has to transcend even the Vedas. Because they say the Vedas are supreme. It is true. It is taking you to the path. But don't go to the supreme with your Vedas, with your books. Sri Ramakrishna says, there was one lady who was kind of a friend who met her old friend after a long time, and the friend was so happy. Oh my God, we've seen each other after a long time, and oh my God. He said, come sit down and that. And the first lady, the lady whom the second lady had come and met, she was a weaver, so she had all these spools of thread, And her friend who had not met her after a long time got not only greedy about those spools of thread. And when her friend had gone to get some refreshments, this lady, she puts some spools of thread under her armpit. And then her friend comes and says, she sees these missing spools. She says, I'm so happy that you've come after a long time. Let's dance. Okay, come. She lifts her up and then saying, lift both your hands and dance. Oh, no. So the other friend is lifting only one hand and dancing. No, you see. Because she lifts the other hand, the spools of thread will fall down. You'll get caught. So don't press me. I know only so much of dancing. Okay, so you're dancing with one hand. If you can dance with two hands, I don't have anything to hide. There it is. I have not taken anything, given anything. This is what. So all of our dealings have got that element of secrecy in it. There's no kind of transparency in it. Oh, there. Yeah. So the moment you become that, you become free from all encumbrances. You become transparent, you become like, This is the free. It is that secretiveness that destroys us. So this person transcends everything that has been mentioned in the Vedas. A person has become free. And knowing this, that person attains that supreme state. By, again, knowing those 7 answers to the 7 questions that he had initially put. Aksharam, Brahma, Paramam, Sabhav. So these are beautiful. See, people ask the question, who am I and where have I come from, where am I going and all. These kind of things, like it's more kind of a quibble, self-delusive quibble. All these things have been clearly delineated by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita. And still, where am I come, who am I? Kind of, keep on then reflecting on those things. So this is what the Lord declares at the end of this yoga of imperishable Brahman. Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Akshara Brahma Yoga Nama Ashtamodhyaya. the next chapter is Rajavidya Raya. This is the supreme knowledge, the supreme secret. Wow. So here the Lord has clarified all our doubts and also given us the idea of a reality to be meditated upon. Okay. And also shown us there is a link between you and that. Tat and Tvam. Tvam is you. You are that. That is the great saying of the Vedas. You are that. So, for the first 6 chapters, we are talking about you. And now we are going to talk about you joined with that reality. Tat. Om Tat Sat. Om, that reality. Okay. So, do we have any?
There are questions you want to read?
Good for the. In the meantime, wow. Okay, all pranams, okay. Does a karma yogi always get success, or she can get failure even after doing their duties properly? Is failure a sign that a person is not a karma yogi? No. A person, even if a person meets failures, that does not act as a deterrent. He doesn't get deterred with failures. That person has already given up the idea of results. That person is supposed to work. Karmanyeva adhikaraste. Your right is to work, never to the fruits. So the very fact that if you're thinking about results, the failures and successes, what's not coming, what's coming, then you are not a karma yogi. You are a karmi. That is, you are a worker. But to work as a karma yogi, when you work, dedicate all that work to God. That is a karma yogi. That karma yogi then is not elated in success, not depressed in failure. So, success and failure is the fabric of all things material. So dedicate all your lives, all your actions to God. Okay, please continue series of conquest of fear and death. Death, why do you have to get afraid of death? The actual experience of death, actual experience is one of great release. It's superb. It is painless. It is beyond all fear. So get all this idea of terror and fear and uncertainty from your mind out. These are the things that have been preached by ignorant people. Okay? Read those books written by those who have conquered death. Okay? And my last Sunday's talk was conquest of life and death. So go through this. Samadhi, conquest of life and death. How to break bad habits? Well, it's very easy. Start a good habit. Go. Yeah, that's easy. That's the most easiest thing. Meditation 3 times, 3 parts of day. What are its benefits? Oh, real meditation, oh my God. The fruits of meditation are tremendous. But don't just make 3 times a day. When you're working, you're studying, do it meditatively. So you don't just do it 3 times, but you do it all the time. So when you're talking to your friends, you're interacting with your friends, do it meditatively. See that you stick to truth, see that you do everything that is compassionate, kind, loving, unselfish. So you work as a yogi. You live as a yogi, you do everything as a yogi. You sleep like a yogi, you eat like a yogi. It's not 3 times. So, but of course, better than running about like a monkey So you sit down in one place 3 times a day, that's good. We have seen the whole results of meditation explained in the 6th chapter. So, yeah, Bhavani says thank you. Thank you, Bhavani. Yeah, all that. Swamiji, does jnana alone is enough for realization, or both jnana and karma are required? Jnana alone, karma gets over. Sarva karma kilam partha jnane parisamap. All work in its entirety ends with knowledge. When you work, you get knowledge. If you work like Swamiji said, drudge, like an ass knows the weight of a sandalwood, but does not know the value of sandalwood. So when you work with concentration, with awareness, every work ends with knowledge. Every work. So the final stage comes when all work ends with knowledge. Knowledge. Now, you'll say, what is knowledge? Knowledge of the reality. Knowledge that you are integral in this reality. Sri Ramakrishna says, the idea of differentiation is the idea of ignorance, comes from ignorance. The idea of unity comes from the idea of knowledge. So try to see yourself as one with creation. Try to feel yourself one with life. Try to feel unified on all levels of creation that you experience. Even if you cannot do anything physically, send out a prayer. At the final stage, the culmination of all this idea of unification, the unity, brings in this idea of I am a soul which is a part of God. And then you get unified in that. That's a tremendous state. So knowledge, always knowledge brings love, knowledge brings unity. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.